Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. I just want to show you what it is to eat a alkaline diet, what kind of foods are available. An alkaline diet is a starch-free diet. Most of this stuff I get from Bulk Barn. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to start off with is chickpea flour. And chickpea flour I use to make kind of like flat cakes. I make a large batch beforehand so I don't have to be cooking every day, because a lot of this stuff is whole foods and you have to prepare it beforehand. So that's how I do it. I prepare large batches that can have 2 to 3 days. There's also rye flour. You mix it with spelt flour and it makes a really good your own bread. Spelt kernels. These are so filling. This is kind of like my substitute for rice basically, and I added to stews also as a rice, as a side dish. This one is one of my favorites and also one of my husband's favorites, named amaranth. This is so delicious and your stomach feels so good after having this. After eating all this food, your stomach feels good and you have energy. And this one, when you cook it, it's kind of like gooey in a way. My own hamburger patties version. And the first time my husband tried this, he said that it tasted like his grandma's. He's like, my grandma makes this. Like, wow, that's a good thing, you know, because his grandma's like in Africa. And that just goes to show you that this is like an ancient grain, an original grain of the earth. So it's amaranth. Yeah, I love this one. To chickpeas, I'm almost out of these ones. Just a big batch of chickpeas. You can add them to stews. You can have them as side dishes. Like, they're very, sorry, my kids in the background. They are very filling. They have a lot of fiber in them. Add them to different squashes as well, like pumpkin, spaghetti squash, and butternut squash. Another grain we have is quinoa. This little thing of quinoa is not going to be enough for me. That was my first reaction. But then, like, you really don't need a lot. Like, you think like a bag like this is $7 or something, but it lasts a long time. It really does. At first I was like, I'm going to eat this in like 2 days or something. But no, it lasts a long time, surprisingly, and it is really delicious. One of the best things I can make with this is kind of like a salad with kale. So I really like that for that. But you can also make a really good tomato soup with it, like a warming, hearty, comforting tomato soup. Instead of your oats, this is the substitute for your oatmeal. And these are spelt oats, not oats. Spelt meal. I don't know. They're flattened spelts, and they're just like oatmeal. I will leave a link down below to Amazon.com. I know they sell them in like 4 packets or like 6 packets or something at a like a reasonable price. Instead of the spelts, these are very cheap. You can substitute rye flakes. Oh, those are oat flakes. Flakes, that's the word. I particularly love the rye flakes. And with the rye flakes, or with the spelt flakes, or with the crepes, I should say, I use the agave sweetener. It's one of my staples is bread, and I found this bread. This bread is the kind of like the hard kind of bread, like the real Slavic. This one is German bread. It's rye bread basically. You can. This is like so heavy. If you got hit in the head with this thing, you'd be knocked over. It costs like $7 or $8 or something, but it lasts a really long time, and I put it in the freezer, and that way it lasts me a long time, and then I'll just toast it when I need it. Also, if I want something to crunch on, or if I'm not into the bread, or something different, these are rye crackers from Wasa, like Waza, and hearty rye. All the ingredients are whole grain rye, flour, salt, and yeast. So these are very delicious, and you know, it's sometimes you just can't you just don't have something that you've made, or you just finished something and you haven't gotten to cooking something and you just need something to eat right away. So that's what I do. I'll eat bread or crackers or fruit. I'm not really into coffee, so I need something like a coffee substitute. Things that I'm using right now for my coffee substitute is this from Stash black tea white chocolate mocha. It's made with black tea, so there is caffeine in there, and a blend of black teas, cocoa shells, cinnamon, natural coffee, and white chocolate flavors. And then I mix that with coconut milk and some sweetener. This one I want to try also from Stash. It's their vanilla nut cream. They have like so many flavors. I really want to try all of them. So this is the second one, but this is decaf, and I do like some natural caffeine, not from coffee in the morning, just for a little pinch of boost. You know, you need a little nudge in the morning sometimes. What I will do if it's decaf, because I love the flavor, when I make it, I will add a sachet green tea. A green tea sachet or green tea sachet, I don't know. So I will mix the green tea and one of these, and then I'll have my little kick of caffeine as well. Oils. As for oils, you can use coconut oil, sesame oil, hemp seed oil. Got it. Hemp seed oil, and what I use pretty much all the time because it's good for frying specifically. And coconut oil, I know we've been told, I was listening, I fried with coconut, but it's not actually the best thing to fry with coconut oil. The best one is the grapeseed. There's a few that really have high temperature. Sesame seed oil, it's high temperature, grapeseed oil, and I think the hemp seed is another one, but I'm not sure. I'll leave the link down below to the website where all these foods are. Like, surprisingly, I can do frying on this diet and it doesn't bother me at all. I don't have any like heavy feeling from eating the fried foods. I'll fry my hamburger patties, I'll fry the chickpea patties. Another thing different from other diets is salt. You can eat salt, the natural Himalayan or Celtic sea salt, and you can eat as much salt as you want and you don't get bloated. I use a generous amount of salt every day in whatever I'm eating, and I do not have water retention. Starch causes water retention, not salt. So everybody's pretty much got a sweet tooth, and of course I do too. When I was first starting out on this diet, the sweet tooth was very demanding, and the way I quenched it was basically with one thing: dates. Dates are so sweet. They will fulfill that sweet tooth, that urge to have something sweet, something naughty and sweet. So definitely dates are the go-to thing for like your evening snack and all that. And sometimes I will have some chocolate, but I allow myself to have chocolate only if it's 90%. I know it's not on the list, but because it's 90%, I don't feel like I have any issues or any problems with it. And you know, a few bars won't hurt. And basically with this kind of 90% chocolate, you cannot overeat anyways, because it's like so thick and like cocoa, like powder almost. So that's one indulgent thing. But this I did not, at the very beginning I was very strict. The first few months extremely strict. I didn't include this. Only now I can afford myself to have a little bit sometimes. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I have lots of pears, apples. I really like the green kind because, you know, your palate changes, and I've noticed that all those other kinds of apples, they just seem really sweet. This is also a staple. This is basically your potato now. Plantains, or green bananas, I think they're otherwise called. They're extremely filling. Like, they're like a potato. You can boil them, you can add them to soups, dishes. I slice them and fry them sometimes if I want something fried. And they're like fried, they're even sweet. So there we have kale. Kale is one of the basic greens. Your lettuce, our mushrooms. At first I knew that green cabbage was not the right kind of cabbage, but I didn't know that we could eat the purple kind. So somehow, somewhere, I figured out like, oh yes, you can. And I was so glad, because cabbage is like, it's so heartwarming and it soothes like the digestion. It's like a hearty food, and I'm just really happy because I add the cabbage. It makes me happy. I have two spreads that I use for my breads and for my rye crackers. Hummus, which is chickpeas, and they have different flavors and stuff. I have like 3 of these in my fridge, so this is what I basically put on anything that you can like use butter on. I use this, and sometimes if I'm craving the butter version, there's this wonderful product. It's coconut oil, but it has butter flavor. It smells like cinema popcorn. Like that butter smell, that's what it smells like. It's very, very delicious. The staple is coconut milk. Something else that I always keep in my fridge is kefir, and this is the dairy-free kefir that's made from coconut milk. And I made a video about this. I rave about this one. Look at all the different probiotics it has. It has a lot, like 10 different bacterial cultures. This really hits the spot if you are not getting any benefit from your probiotic capsules for balancing the bacteria in your gut. That's why it's so great, because you know they're alive and it just works right away. Another thing that you gotta have is your key limes, and this is what I use with my moringa. Taking my moringa every day. Also, you can take this like with your meals, some lime juice, and it's really good for your digestion. I love onions. I'm crazy about onions, but when I was eating the other kind of onions, normal yellow or white kind, I couldn't eat because I noticed like my throat was like getting hoarse, and my stomach, I could feel, was kind of upset, because I just love onions so much, and I crave them like all the time. But now with these onions, you can eat as much as you want and you don't have any side effects. I mean, like, no side effects. So yeah, and they're mild. They're not strong tasting. They're mild and juicy and really delicious. So the purple onions are the ones. And some more staples like your bell peppers, zucchinis, and your cucumbers. I'm sure maybe there's a few other things that I didn't mention or I forgot about or something. That is what keeps me satisfied. Also, I have frozen berries. I eat those also as snacks in the evenings. First of all, it may seem that this diet is limited, but it's really not, and it is kind of like a blessing in disguise, because you just don't really have to think too much. You don't have to be like, you don't have to buy too much. You don't have to continuously buy a lot of different ingredients. It's just a really simplified way of eating, and it's really great for the digestion. I have like no problems whatsoever with consistency, with I don't have bloating anymore. I don't wake up swollen anymore, like water retention, swollen, puffy. I don't wake up like that anymore. Before, whatever I ate, the next morning I woke up and it looked like I could have easily gained like at least 3 pounds, because it's just all the starch from the food, or whatever my body couldn't assimilate or process all those ingredients. Like mental issues like depression, anxiety, stress, all those kinds of things, they're just, if I do feel them, it's just a tiny bit and it passes very quickly. I'm gonna go now because I have a workout to do, my floor workout. If you guys are following me on my 21-day challenge, I congratulate you. And I have to go get something to eat because I really didn't eat much today and it's already evening time. That's because I had minerals. I had minerals this morning and they kept me going, and I had a green apple and I had like 2 bananas or something, and I'm telling you, I am like energized, I'm full of energy, and I can do more in life, and I don't have to be grounded to food, to meals, to times and all that kind of stuff. I can just do and be free, and you know, it's a really liberating diet. And it's a diet where you don't have to count calories. You don't have to worry about what you ate. Is it good? How is it gonna respond? How's my body gonna respond to it? This is just this is like the best diet that I have ever found, and I really believe that it's a great thing to have for the rest of your life. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Please subscribe and like. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.